There's a lot going on. I actually did a podcast yesterday. Check my my Twitter if you want to get a link to it, where you talked all about the Skins, the Commanders. And one of the things I brought up, I tweeted about it yesterday also. And we've seen this before. There was a picture that was kind of stark that we talked about on the show. But Manny Forbes they had the cameras out there. We had his first workout with the Rams.
Yeah.
Jason, his legs are toothpicks. There's no, I mean, it's the most shocking thing.
It's the way he's built.
He has, the thing that really jumps out at me is, like, you know, anybody who's played any sports at all, you have these these muscles around your knees, you know, especially if you play soccer.
Sure.
He doesn't have that. There's no muscle tone in the legs. It's just remarkable. And then, you know, he's wearing this big oversized helmet. He looks like he's going to tip over. He doesn't even, and I'm being mean, but I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just amazed because I do root for him. I hope he becomes a Pro Bowler. I really do root for him. He doesn't even look quick. He just
hard to tell in those videos and quickness. But the legs just jump out at you. We've talked about it every time, and people are like, "Oh, he can gain weight, this and that."
No,
I mean, it looks like
he probably can't really gain weight.
Or the argument, he doesn't need a lot of weight. He's such a playmaker. He makes plays on the ball all the time. Now, that may have been the case at Mississippi State. It hasn't been the case, obviously, in the pros.
But I mean, I even question, like, what did he run in a 40? Like, I don't even know. He actually looks slow. He looks not quick. I mean, I can see why. I don't even know how anybody could suit him. He makes Jaden look like Hulk Hogan.
He ran a 4.35.
That's amazing.
That's moving.
That is moving.
That is blazing fast.
That's right. So light. How could you not?
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have any fat.
Did he float to the 40-yard line?
What is his body fat percentage? Like
0.
Right.
1%?
Yeah. I mean, you look at those legs.
He looks like a supermodel.
Yeah.
I mean, even a supermodel, you would eat a hamburger. I mean, it's unbelievable. Jason, did you see the video?
I didn't.
Just click on, I'm begging you to. Just type in Emmanuel Forbes Rams.
Okay.
Please, you got to see it. I want to get your comment. I know.
Can I do it during the break?
No, I want your live
reaction.
comments. I want your live reaction.
Ron Rivera drafted him. He was the only cornerback.
How could they draft him in the first round?
The only cornerback drafted since 2000 to weigh under 170 pounds. Well, think about it. Derrick Henry's in the NFL against football. I know you're a corner and your primary responsibility is covering receivers, but you do have to tackle. How do you expect a guy who weighs less than 170 pounds to tackle men like Derrick Henry?
We saw this past weekend when Cooper DeJean basically trucked Derrick Henry. If that were Manny Forbes trying to make that tackle, he would have been broken.
He would have been on the IR.
100 pieces.
The thing is, that's a little bit incidental. Like, Deion was never a big tackler. Like, some of the best players. I don't think Darrell Green was a big tackler.
Yeah, it's not their top priority.
But I just wonder how he could just stay with a receiver. Like, how they just throw him aside.
Which website is it on? Is it on the Rams.com? Is it on
why don't you just go do
YouTube?
Me a favor? Go to EB Junkies, and it's the easiest thing on my Twitter, and do my profile. I retweeted the video. And you see him, and he's just doing drills, and he must be just doing it at half speed. It's just... But the legs, Jason, if your daughter had legs like that, you'd send her in a hospital.
And here's the thing, like
I'm not kidding.
We obviously respect Sean McVay and his GM Les Snead. Like those guys are generally sharp. Like they know what they're doing.
Well, I don't blame them.
I'm surprised that they had interest.
Well, the thing is, he must have some talent, as I said before. But it's just when you see him in his uniform, it's unbelievable. He must have some talent, or a team wouldn't take you in the first round. I mean,
in Ron's defense, we don't defend Ron much on the show.
Nor should we.
Yeah.
I mean, he was mocked in the first round by every single
a lot of people, right?
Draft guru,
right? So that's why, and first round guys that get cut, they always get second chances. So maybe it won't work. But I am rooting for him.
But again, I said this the other day. I couldn't find it on your Twitter. I don't care. But my point is, Ron had a staff of people. Right. There's no way Ron was going to Mississippi State games.
No, he had two Martys working for him.
His entire staff was poor at their jobs.
Correct.
All the Martys, everybody underneath
Ron
them
was just saying, all right, who should we take? Who do you like?
Right.
And everyone was saying, this kid, Emmanuel Forbes, legit, can run a 4.35. Right. He's got 100 interceptions in the SEC.
Well, thankfully,
so you got to blame all those guys, too.
They all burden, some of the burden of the blame is on them, but they're all out the door now. You don't have to worry about them any longer making decisions that impact this roster.
But anyway, just check that out. I am honestly, even though I'm goofing on and just sort of the body, it's just amazing to me. I am rooting for him. I hope he.
I'd like to see him do
well.
I'd like to see him do well.
Yeah, I'd like to see him make Pro Bowl. It won't upset me.
Speaking of the Rams, you guys were talking about the Cowboys. Two biggest Cowboy fans in the world right now are JP and Drabby.
Because
just because of the argument we had yesterday. But the Rams have one more win than the Cowboys. All right. And they play the Bills at home this weekend.
Yeah.
But they get them at home. Then they get the Niners, who are dead. Then they get the Jets, who are dead.
Dead.
Then they get the Cardinals and Seahawks at home.
Okay.
If they can go on a run here too, Drabby, not just the Cowboys.
They could, but I think they're going to get smashed by Buffalo, and then
they might. But I'm saying they're only one game back of the division.
Yeah.
As opposed to the Cowboys.
That division stinks.
The Cowboys are chasing the wild card.
Right.
The Rams are chasing the division.
Hey, we don't have any bottom feeders in our division. You can't say our division stinks. Our division has 4 average teams in it.
Yes. Okay. Decidedly mediocre. Is that a better description?
Let me know when there's a 2-win. There's no 2-win team in our division.
That's right.
There's no chumps.
Yeah. Get out of here with that.
Well, we've done this a little bit, but one of the
I will say this: the Niners are playing like a 2-win team.
One of the questions that the guys yesterday on the pod I did asked me, I actually wasn't really prepared for it, but it's a basic question: is after the bye, what record do you think they'll have? So they have, and we've talked about this. They have New Orleans, Philly, Atlanta, Dallas. I told them I would go 3-1. I would go. If you just, it doesn't mean I'll be right. Although I think I'm 11-2 picking the Commanders' fortunes this year. I'd take win over New Orleans, loser to Philly, win over Atlanta, and somehow defeat Micah Parsons. Because I think we're a better football team than them. So I have them going 3-1.
Can you imagine if that Washington-Dallas game in Week 18 is for the last wild card?
It's possible.
I mean, it's possible. Mathematically, of course, it's possible, but realistically,
let's go around the room. So I have a 3-1 beating the Saints. If you look at you say the same thing about us. Everyone says the same thing. We haven't beaten anybody. I think the Cincinnati win, even though they're struggling. I mean, what Burrow's doing is ridiculous. I think that's the best one, most exciting one.
You also thumped the Cardinals, who Drab can't stop talking about behind the glass. Loves them being part of the NFC West.
So I have them.
Well, that's big too because I got the head-to-head.
Yeah,
I have them beating the Saints, losing to Philly. Sorry, I mean we could beat Philly, but if you put a gun to my head, I'd pick Philly, and then beating Atlanta, and then beating Dallas. What do you have? I'm going to guess you guys all go 2-2.
I've got
3-1 or 2-2.
You guys have us losing to Dallas again?
Well, I don't know if they lose to Dallas. I mean, I don't know if that game's going to mean anything.
That game could mean nothing.
Let's assume it means something. Let's assume it means something.
That's going to be.
I'll have them at 3-1.
That's going to be interesting.
That sticks with my preseason prediction.
I'm going to go 2-2. I don't know if they'll beat the Saints and the Falcons. I don't know. I just have them going 2-2.
Okay.
10 wins is freaking great. Great year.
It's an amazing year.
What do you think, JP? Let's just go on the record. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things can change, and you don't know whether the games are going to mean anything.
Let's
but
assume
right
they
now,
mean
you'd say
something.
3-1. I'd love to see the impact of Lattimore. That's going to be big. It's looking like he's going to play.
It's going to be a big impact because it just knocks everybody down a receiver.
Yeah.
He gets the top dog.
By the way, I did find the video. I can show you, Jason.
Yeah, look.
The reason why he couldn't figure out Twitter is you retweeted Gabe's tweet or somebody.
There was no
Gabe.
Video on his Twitter,
right? Because he had retweeted somebody else's.
Thank you. All right, thought I was an idiot.
So
it wasn't on it.
If you hit thumbnail. Media, you would see the retweet.
I'm never on Twitter.
Yeah,
so I don't know. No, he's
got skinny legs.
It's the most shocking thing you've ever seen.
Let me see it again.
Look. It looks like
they
a
look
mini
skinnier when
bowl.
He's moving.
Mini Minute. Imagine if you cut half Minute's body off.
Poor Minute. Rest in peace.
You're lying, by the way. You're not rooting for him to have 5 picks in a game.
No, I didn't mean in a game. I mean like the rest of the year.
Yeah, you'd still be bitter.
No, I promise you, because I understand letting him go. Wasn't in their plans. Guy's 100 pounds. I get it.
But he's a nice kid.
You don't want him
for him. I don't want him to be out of the league.
It wasn't like he they had a drunken driving thing, and he ran over somebody, he punched somebody over at one loud. He's just the kid that didn't fit.
He's a nice kid.
He got overdrafted. That's so not his fault.
Honestly, Val, I know. Honestly, Valdez looking at me like I'm an alien. I'm okay if he thrives somewhere else. It's okay. I don't.
As long as they're not playing you, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want him to fall out against my team.
Remember, he went over to the corners for the Bears.
For most people
after the Hail Mary.
Say again.
He showed empathy. I think after the Hail Mary, he went over to the corners of the Bears.
Yeah. What are you
heaviest weight he's ever lifted.
I mean,
you're just different than me.
You're rooting for someone. You basically misused him. If all of a sudden he has 5 picks at the end of the season,
but it might be true. We might have misused him. I mean, again, as you said, we weren't the only team that had him high on their board.
By the way, on a side note, speaking of misusing people that you've picked up or acquired, Deontay Johnson being picked up by the Ravens. Now I know that they didn't pay a lot to get him, but that's like blowing up in everybody's face.
He's been suspended for a game now by the team.
Yeah, he's barely being used.
I thought he was initially a good pickup. No,
it seemed like it.
He put up good numbers.
They didn't utilize him, and then he got suspended.
He's a malcontent.
What happened?
He wouldn't go into the game against the Eagles.
He refused to go into the game.
Oh, got to get rid of him.
Yeah. So they said,
I mean, that's
because he was there. What, 2 games before, 3 games before, and then he was getting 5 snaps a game.
And so he's pouting.
Yeah, so he's pouting because it's a contract year for him, and he's not putting up any kind of numbers.
Yeah,
and he refused to go into the game. Yeah. Eric DeCosta suspension,
right? As he should.
Should just cut his ass.
You can't. Well, there's a lot of chatter about that because if you cut him before the playoff rosters are set, like Kansas City can go pick him up,
right?
Or he's actually that good that he could help your opponent.
Yeah, he could.
He's definitely a good player.
If his head's on right and he's being
he could help a team that's going to the playoffs. The Bills could pick him up.
Yeah, I get it. But they just suspend him without pay. Can they suspend him without pay? Because he's getting rewarded for that. That would annoy me. But back to the Manny Forbes thing just for a second, Valdez. Don't you think it's mean to root for him to fail? Like, I don't want him to fail. I want him to succeed. I want everybody to succeed.
No, I root for my team, and I wouldn't want my team to get. I wouldn't want my team to get embarrassed by making a poor personnel decision.
Don't you root for humanity? I root for the humanity of it.
No, I root for my team.
Root for your squad first. Humanity, distant second.
I think my team's going to be fine without Manny Forbes.
Against Joe Flacco?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not wearing purple and black anymore. So yes.
But I'm with you, EB. I would maybe root for the guy that he does well elsewhere.
Yeah. I root for him.
Not against your team.
Of course not.
But have success elsewhere.
Unless they did something malicious, they were a douche. Right. No, then I root against you. Like Eric Bieniemy. Just a disingenuous fraud. I root against him.
Where was he disingenuous?
I don't know.
I just think he wasn't good.
He kind of came across as I'm the smartest guy in the room.
Smartest guy in the room.
Don't wear your hat backwards. Don't do that around Eric Bieniemy. He'll get so bitter.
Yeah. I don't know. He's just a big phone.
He'll suspend you.
I actually hate that.